Tow his truck. He's blocking HOA property. It's my road. Karen turned to the deputy and laughed. No, it was your road. 28 families live back there now. The HOA owns the easement and he knows it. She shoved a folder into the deputy's hands and pointed at my pickup. He's trespassing, obstructing emergency access, and trying to extort an entire community. Remove the truck. That was 3 lies in less than 30 seconds. I looked at the document. Read the parcel number. Karen's smile tightened. That's irrelevant. The deputy looked at her. Mum, you said this was the recorded easement. It is. 28 families bought homes with guaranteed access. 8 months earlier, I had signed one agreement allowing temporary construction traffic across my ranch. Nothing more. Yet Karen had somehow sold 28 luxury homes, promising buyers my road belonged to them. Now she was demanding the sheriff tow my truck off my own land. I looked at the deputy again. Read the parcel number out loud. For the first time that morning, Karen stopped smiling. 8 months earlier, there were no luxury homes behind Mercer Ranch. Just cleared timber, survey stakes, excavators, and a billboard. Silver Pines Luxury Mountain Living. 28 homes. Most priced close to or above $1 million. Silver Pines had one problem. Access. Their approved permanent entrance was on the east side. But finishing it required grading a hillside drainage work and a long paved connector to the county road. My road was already there. Mercer Cut Road was half a mile of gravel crossing my ranch before reaching the Silver Pines property. My father and I had maintained it for most of my life. When I was 16, he taught me how to crown the gravel, so rainwater ran into the ditch instead of cutting through the road. Every spring we spread fresh stone together. After he got too old to run the tractor, I did it myself. It wasn't much to look at, but it was ours. When Silver Pines asked to use it during construction, I agreed. I had spent 27 years as a county survey technician. I knew temporary access could become a permanent argument if nobody wrote down the rules. So we did. Construction vehicles only, phase 1 only, no residential use, no transfer of rights. Permission ended when construction ended. For 6 months there wasn't a problem. Then Vanessa Caldwell appeared. Vanessa was the new Silver Pines HOA president. The first time I met her, she was standing beside my private ranch road sign with a clipboard under one arm. You're Daniel Mercer? That's me. She looked at my muddy boots, then at my old Ford near the barn. We need to discuss upgrading this road. We don't. Her eyebrows went up. Excuse me? Your residential entrance is on the east side. She smiled. Nobody who paid $1 million for a home is going to drive 2 extra miles around a hill because one rancher is sentimental about a dirt road. It's private property. Silver Pines has community access rights. No. Your developer has temporary construction permission. Same difference. No, it isn't. Her smile disappeared. 28 luxury homes are going up back there, Mr. Mercer. This area is changing. She looked toward my barn. You can cooperate with progress, or you can become the problem everyone has to work around. 3 days later, my private ranch road sign disappeared. In its place, Silver Pines resident access. I removed it. The next morning, another appeared. Then the residents started moving in. SUVs, delivery vans, furniture trucks, landscapers. One Saturday morning, 17 vehicles crossed Mercer Cut Road before breakfast. I called Vanessa. You're sending residents across my ranch. Our residents are using their community entrance. You don't have one here. She laughed. You keep saying that like it changes anything. It changes everything. No, Daniel. 28 families bought homes with guaranteed access. You don't get to change your mind after people have invested millions of dollars. That caught my attention. I had never given those families access in the first place. 2 days later, a certified envelope arrived. Silver Pines HOA, a notice of violation. Vanessa accused me of obstructing designated emergency community access. Fine, $500. I wasn't even a member of Silver Pines. I called her. You're finding property outside your HOA. Your membership status doesn't exempt your property from affecting our community. You don't control my ranch. We control access to our community. Not through my land. Her voice sharpened. Keep pushing this, Daniel, and 28 homeowners will know exactly who is threatening the value of their homes. Then she hung up. That was when I realized Vanessa wasn't just making a property claim. She was building a story. And in that story, I was the greedy rancher standing between 28 families and their homes. I checked the county records. My deed was clean. No permanent residential easement. No HOA access rights. Nothing giving Silver Pines control of Mercer Cut Road. But Vanessa's words still bothered me. 28 families bought homes with guaranteed access. People don't spend $1 million because someone says, trust me. Somewhere that promise had to be written down. So I found the Silver Pines marketing packet. Glossy houses, mountain views, private community. Then the site map. 2 permanent community entrances. The east entrance was legitimate. The west entrance crossed Mercer Ranch. They had drawn their access line directly over the road my father and I had maintained for decades. My land, my road, and that was when I understood. Vanessa wasn't trying to take my road. She had already sold it. 3 days later, A black SUV stopped beside my barn. The man who got out introduced himself as Mark Ellis. Lot 14, Silver Pines. He looked uncomfortable. Vanessa says you're demanding money from the HOA. How much? She didn't say. Interesting. She said you waited until people moved in because now you have leverage. That what everybody believes? Most people. I nodded toward his SUV. When you bought your house, who told you this road belonged to Silver Pines? The developer? Sales agent? HOA. Do you have it in writing? His expression changed. I think so. 20 minutes later, we were sitting at my kitchen table with his closing folder open. Then I found it. Permanent Western Access Easement. The description pointed toward Mercer Cut Road. At the bottom was what looked like a county recording number. Mark tapped it. Vanessa says this proves you're lying. I stared at the number. After 27 years working with county records, it looked almost right. I searched the index. The number existed. For a few seconds, I thought maybe someone had recorded something I had missed. Then I opened it. Drainage easement. Different owner, different parcel, 6 miles away. Mark leaned closer. What does that mean? The number is real. He looked relieved. But it has nothing to do with my ranch. His face changed. This was in my closing packet. I know. There are 27 other families. I know that too. That was when I stopped seeing the Silver Pines homeowners as deliberate trespassers. They believed they had bought legal access. Somebody had sold them that belief. Before Mark left, he forwarded several HOA emails. One subject line said, "Hostile landowner threatens community access." Another accused me of trying to monetize a long-established easement. Then Vanessa claimed I wanted thousands of dollars from each homeowner to keep the road open. I had never asked anyone for $1, but the lie worked. The following afternoon, a Silver Pines resident stopped at my mailbox. "You proud of yourself? I'm sorry. My wife and I put everything into that house. I'm not trying to take your house. No, you're just threatening to lock us in. Who told you that?" He didn't answer. He didn't need to. That evening, someone taped a sign to my gate. "Stop extorting families." For the first time, Vanessa had actually cost me something. People I had never met had already decided what kind of man I was. At the next HOA meeting, Mark recorded her. Vanessa stood in front of a room full of worried homeowners. "Mr. Mercer waited until your homes were occupied before challenging access. That tells you everything you need to know about his intentions," a woman asked. "Can he legally close the road?" "No." "Are you sure?" "We have the deed. We have the easement. We have everything." Then she smiled. "He has an old ranch and a grievance. We have 28 homeowners and attorneys. For a few Vanessa won." Neighbors stopped waving. Someone called me a parasite. An attorney representing Silver Pines sent a cease and desist letter threatening legal action if I interfered with residential access. I read it twice, then put it in the file. I stopped trying to argue with Vanessa. I started collecting. My deed, original survey, temporary access agreement, Mark's closing packet, the false recording reference, HOA emails, threats, vehicle logs. Then Mark called again. "There's something else." He emailed me his annual HOA statement, landscaping, security, insurance, then one line. "Private road maintenance assessment, $185. You all pay this? Every homeowner. For which road?" He paused. "You already know." I walked outside. I had graded Mercer Cut Road that spring. I bought the gravel. I cleared the drainage ditch. No Silver Pines contractor had touched it. So where was the money going? Mark obtained a vendor summary. One name appeared repeatedly beside Western Access expenses. Caldwell Community Consulting LLC. I read it twice. Then called Mark. "What's Vanessa's last name?" "Caldwell. The road was mine. The gravel was mine. The maintenance was mine." But somehow, Karen's family was getting paid for all three. I didn't confront Vanessa right away. A matching last name wasn't proof. I wanted facts. Mark pulled the HOA disclosures he was entitled to see. I checked the company registration. Caldwell Community Consulting belonged to Richard Caldwell, Vanessa's husband. The HOA had paid his company for Western Access Management, road coordination, and seasonal maintenance. I compared the payment dates against my ranch records. Every gravel delivery had a receipt. Every time I graded Mercer Cut Road, I logged the tractor hours. My father taught me that. "Paper remembers better than people," he used to say. I had maintained the road, not them. I sent Vanessa one certified letter. Provide the recorded permanent easement. Provide an accounting of the money collected for maintaining Mercer Cut Road. 2 days later, Vanessa drove onto my ranch without calling. She stepped out holding her clipboard. "You've been going through confidential financial records. Your homeowners showed me what they're paying for. That's none of your business. The road is." She stepped closer. "Those families need this road. Their property values depend on it. Emergency access depends on it. And your husband gets paid for it." For once, she didn't answer immediately. Then she smiled. "You should be very careful making accusations you can't prove. I didn't accuse you of anything. You just did." "No, I asked for the easement. We have one. Show it to me." Her eyes narrowed. "You really want to do this?" "I want the document." She stared at me, then turned toward her SUV. "Fine, we'll give you your document." At the door, she looked back. And when we do, I expect you to stop harassing my community." 4 days later, an overnight envelope arrived from the HOA attorney. Inside was a permanent access easement. This one wasn't the page from Mark's closing packet. It had a full legal description: Mercer Ranch, permanent residential access, and at the bottom was a signature I recognized, my father's. I sat there staring at it. Dad handled much of the ranch paperwork before he died. Utility permissions, equipment leases, boundary agreements. For the first time since Vanessa appeared, I wondered if I had been wrong. Maybe Dad had signed something I never knew about. Maybe Silver Pines really did have a right. The signature looked close, very close. I pulled out an old equipment lease, then another agreement. I compared them. My stomach tightened. Then I noticed the date, May 14, 2022. I stared at it. My father's death certificate was in the cabinet beside my desk. November 3, 2019. I put the two documents together. For a long moment, I didn't feel angry. I felt cold. My father had been dead almost 3 years when that easement said he signed away permanent access to the road he'd spent decades maintaining. They hadn't just put my property into their paperwork. They had put his name into it too. I made copies, then called the county recorder. They couldn't verify the document from the information printed on it. Then Vanessa escalated. The next morning, 2 orange cones appeared near the entrance to Mercer Cut Road. By noon, a tow truck was sitting beside my pickup. 2 sheriff's deputies stood nearby, and Vanessa was pointing at me. "Tow his truck. He's blocking HOA property. We were back where this story started. It's my road." She laughed. "No, it was your road." One deputy asked for proof. Vanessa shoved the folder at him. "He's been harassing residents for weeks. He knows we have permanent access. He's trying to extort 28 families." I pointed at the bottom. "Read the parcel number." "That's irrelevant," she snapped. The deputy looked at her. "You said this is the recorded easement." "It is. Then the recording information matters." Vanessa glanced at the tow truck. "Officer, this man is wasting everyone's time." The deputy didn't move. "Which parcel is the easement recorded against?" For 1 second, Vanessa looked nervous. Then she got louder. "The paperwork is a technicality. We sold 28 homes with guaranteed access. He cannot decide afterward that the road belongs to him." Nobody spoke. One deputy's body camera was pointed directly at her. I didn't correct her. I didn't need to. She had just admitted Silver Pines sold 28 homes with guaranteed access before establishing whether that access actually existed. "The deputies refused to tow my truck." Vanessa turned on them. "So you're just going to let him hold families hostage?" The senior deputy said. "We're not deciding property ownership on the side of a road." Vanessa pointed at me. "You're going to regret this." Then she left. I sent the county everything: my deed, temporary agreement, Mark's closing papers, the second easement, my father's death certificate, the HOA assessments, the Caldwell payments, and Vanessa's statements in front of the deputies. Late that afternoon, the county recorder called. "Mr. Mercer, don't close the road yet." "Why?" "Silver Pines has another application pending." "For what?" "Phase 2. How many homes?" 34. I sat forward. 34 more? Yes. I looked toward Mercer Cut Road. 28 families had already been sold access across my land. Vanessa wasn't trying to protect one mistake. She was preparing to sell it 34 more times. The county didn't reject Phase 2. They scheduled a public planning hearing. Vanessa treated that like a victory. 3 days before the hearing, every Silver Pines homeowner received another email. "County review confirms continued access," it said. "County records confirm that our western access remains valid while Mr. Mercer's baseless complaint is reviewed." That wasn't what the county said. Not even close. But Vanessa understood something. "Most people never check what comes after the phrase 'county records confirm.'" Mark called. "She's telling everyone you lost." "I know. You going to respond?" "No." "Why?" "Because she'll be at the hearing." I wanted Vanessa saying those things somewhere she couldn't later pretend she hadn't. The hearing room was packed. Silver Pines homeowners filled 3 rows. The developer brought 2 attorneys. Vanessa sat at the front in a navy suit with a thick binder. I brought 1 folder. Before the meeting started, she walked past me. "You still have time to stop embarrassing yourself." "Did you bring the easement?" Her smile returned. "You're about to see exactly how little your opinion matters." Silver Pines was third on the agenda. The developer spoke first. 34 additional homes, tax revenue, infrastructure, economic growth. Then Vanessa stood. "For months, one neighboring landowner has attempted to interfere with lawful access to our community." She pointed toward me. "Mr. Mercer never objected while construction increased surrounding property values. Only after families moved in did he suddenly claim the road was private." One commissioner asked. "Does Silver Pines possess permanent access across the Mercer parcel?" "Yes." "Recorded?" "Absolutely." "Under which parcel?" Vanessa paused. Before the developer's attorney could answer, the county recorder leaned toward her microphone. "We have not located a recorded permanent residential easement across the Mercer parcel." Murmurs moved through the room. Vanessa barely blinked. "That's an administrative indexing issue," the recorder replied. We checked by parcel, grantor-grantee, legal description, and recording reference. Vanessa glanced toward the attorney. He stood. There may be inconsistencies in the reference number included in certain closing materials. We would ask the commission not to confuse a clerical discrepancy with the existence of access rights. Vanessa relaxed. Her attorney had given her an escape route. Exactly. This is a paperwork issue being weaponized by a hostile landowner. For a moment, she looked like she might survive it. Then the commission chair called my name. I walked to the projector. The first document was the original access agreement, construction access only. Then, terminates upon completion of Phase 1 construction. Vanessa leaned toward her microphone. That agreement was superseded. By what? The permanent easement. Good. I changed the image. The easement her attorney had mailed me appeared on the screen. My father's signature was visible at the bottom. Vanessa leaned back. There it is. A few homeowners looked toward me. I waited, then placed a second document beside it. My father's death certificate, November 3, 2019. I highlighted the easement date, May 14, 2022, silence. My father died in 2019. Someone whispered, "Oh my God. This says he signed permanent access away in 2022. The developer's attorney stopped writing. Vanessa stood. I have no knowledge of how that document was prepared. 5 minutes earlier, she had called it proof. Now she had no knowledge of it. The commission chair asked, "Was this distributed by the HOA?" Vanessa glanced at her attorney. It was provided through development records. One of the developer's attorneys immediately stood. For clarity, the developer does not stipulate to the origin of that specific document. Vanessa turned toward him. "You provided the access file." He didn't answer. The room noticed. I didn't accuse Vanessa of creating the document. I didn't know who had, and guessing would have weakened everything else. So I said, "I'm not asking this commission to decide tonight who prepared it. I'm asking you not to approve 34 more homes based on access the county cannot verify." Vanessa immediately turned toward the residents. Regardless of administrative irregularities, these families purchased access in good faith. That part was true. The homeowners had. Vanessa tried to hide behind them again. Then Mark stood. "What about the money?" Vanessa turned. "Sit down, Mark." He didn't. "We've all been paying for that road." Several homeowners started talking. Vanessa raised her hand. "This hearing concerns Phase 2, not internal HO. Of finances," the commission chair said. "Let him finish." Mark held up his annual statement. "You told us this assessment maintained western access. I put it on the projector. Private road maintenance assessment. $185, 28 households. Then the vendor summary. Caldwell Community Consulting, LC. The woman in the front row stared at the screen. "Caldwell?" Vanessa crossed her arms. "That company provides legitimate administrative services." Mark asked, "Isn't it your husband's company?" "That is irrelevant." Another homeowner stood. "We were told the money paid for road maintenance." Vanessa snapped, "It pays for access management." I looked at her. "Then tell them what his company maintained." She didn't answer. "I bought the gravel." Silence. "I graded the road," a resident asked. "Then what exactly did we pay for?" Vanessa looked toward the commission. "This is being deliberately mischaracterized," the county recorder asked. "Did the HOA collect assessments associated with Mercer Cut Road?" Vanessa hesitated. "Yes." "And does the county have a verified permanent easement across that road?" Vanessa's face reddened. "The assessment protects our access, which has not been verified." Vanessa lost control. "The access exists because those homes were sold with it." The room went silent. She kept going. 28 families bought guaranteed access. You cannot let one man take it away because he found some technical problem with paperwork. One of the developer's attorneys closed his binder. Vanessa still didn't understand what she had just admitted. I looked at her. "Did I sell those families access? You knew the community needed that road." "That wasn't my question. You watched those houses go up. Did I sell them access?" "You gave construction permission, temporary construction permission." Vanessa pointed toward the residents. "Those homes were sold with guaranteed western access." I nodded. "I know." Then I looked at the homeowners. "I didn't sell you that access." Back at Vanessa. "You did," the room erupted. One homeowner demanded to know why his closing documents referenced the wrong county record. Another asked who authorized payments to Caldwell Community Consulting. A woman near the front asked why the approved east entrance had never been completed. Someone shouted, "Were you charging us for a road you didn't own?" Vanessa tried to talk over them. The commission chair struck the gavel. "Enough." The room settled. Phase 2 is placed on hold, pending review of access rights, submitted documentation, and compliance with the approved Phase 1 transportation plan. Then he looked toward the HOA representatives. "The disputed easement documentation will be referred for appropriate review." Vanessa stared straight ahead. For the first time since I met her, she had nothing to say. But when I walked outside, 28 families still lived behind my ranch. Their permanent east entrance still wasn't built, and Mercer Cut Road was still the route they had been told to use. I drove home, stopped beside the gate, took down the chain. For months Vanessa had told those families I wanted money, leverage, a chance to trap them. I threaded the chain through the gate. The lock was in my hand. One click, and Vanessa's lie would become 28 families' problem. Then headlights appeared behind me. 6 vehicles. Doors opened. Mark was walking toward the gate, and he was carrying another folder. Mark stopped several feet away. "We're not here to argue." The woman from Lot 7 stepped forward. "We didn't know." Mark opened the folder. Inside were closing disclosures from 11 Silver Pines homes. Everyone promised permanent western access. Everyone pointed toward Mercer Cut Road. "We paid for this," Mark said. "The houses, the access, the assessments. We believed them." "I know." His eyes dropped to the chain. "Are you closing it tonight?" For months, Vanessa had told everyone that was exactly what I wanted, and legally I could have done it. The construction agreement had expired. The county had found no verified permanent residential easement. Mercer Cut Road was mine. But these people hadn't put my road in a sales brochure. They hadn't collected money to maintain it. They hadn't called me a trespasser on my own ranch. And they hadn't put my dead father's name on a document dated 3 years after his funeral. I removed the chain. "No." Mark looked surprised. "I'll allow the existing residents temporary access while the developer builds the entrance it was supposed to build." The woman asked, "You'd do that after everything?" "For you." I paused. "Not for the HOA." Mark nodded. "What do you need from us?" "The truth." Over the following weeks, residents turned over closing documents, emails, assessments, and board records. Vanessa's authority was suspended while the disputed finances and Caldwell Community Consulting payments were reviewed. Phase 2 stayed frozen. Silver Pines Development had to build the eastern entrance shown on its approved plan. Until then, the existing 28 households used Mercer Cut Road under a written temporary license. No invented easement, no hidden road assessment, no HOA control. Everything on paper, exactly the way my father would have wanted it. A few months later, the eastern connector opened. I stood beside my gate and watched Silver Pines traffic turn toward the new entrance instead of crossing my ranch. Mark arrived with a wooden sign in the back of his SUV. We bolted it onto the gate. "Mercer Ranch, private road, no HOA access." Mark stepped back. "I think that's clear enough." I looked down Mercer Cut Road. The same gravel my father had taught me to grade when I was 16. 8 months earlier, Vanessa Caldwell had stood there with deputies behind her and told me, "This road belongs to the HOA now." She had $28 million houses, attorneys, a developer, an HOA board, and enough confidence to believe all of that could turn somebody else's property into hers. It couldn't. $28 million houses couldn't create an easement. A clipboard couldn't create ownership. I closed the gate. The sign settled against the wood. Private road. 2 words Vanessa should have respected before she sold the first house. And the road she kept calling hers? Not hers.